Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be showing you the McLaren Senna at Golden Max in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. But this is not your usual Senna. These races were given to me by credit card, and they were recorded in the Asphalt 9 China version. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and be sure to check out my new Furum Clips channel, where just an hour ago I uploaded a new compilation of the best moments from some of my streams. I hope you enjoy these races on a version of the game which we've only seen once before on my channel. If you would like to learn more about the China version of Asphalt 9, I will put a link in the description to a video I made about it a little while back, going over some of the main differences between the regular version of the game and the China version. Because, well, as you can see in this video, the gameplay and everything is basically the same, like, nothing's changed with the physics. The game is slightly behind, and there's a new currency, and there's some different ways you get cars and stuff like that, so it is a bit different. I will not be going over much of that stuff in this video, because it's supposed to be about the car, and it just so happens to be on the China platform, but I will probably touch on some of the things that you will see in this video that are different. For example, the yellow tags above all the cars at the beginnings of the races to say things like pace setting paladin. I have absolutely zero idea what those are, because they are not in the worldwide version at all. Something else you might have caught toward the beginning of the video when I showed the Senna's stats is that there is another orange currency. I talked about this a little bit in the previous video about the China version 2, but essentially it is a currency that you can only get, I believe, by spending real money on the game, and you can actually use it to straight up buy some cars. Like, not every car is blueprints in this game. The other main difference that you can see in this video is that the results screen at the end of all the races is more like the old one instead of the new one, where it shows the club name and the player name instead of seeing all the players' names and the cars they used like we have nowadays in the global version. But enough about that. I'm sure the question you all are asking is the Senna actually any good? Well, as you've been able to see throughout these races, it's been able to hold its own against some pretty hefty cars. That being said, this car does not really get much viable until you get to 5 stars or 6 stars. You see, the only reason that it is any good is that it is agile, very easy to drive, and forgiving. Its handling is the best in the entire game at over 100. No other car can say that. But the problem is, its speed is not very good at all. Its maximum speed tops out at around 230 miles per hour, which is one of the worst in Class S. Even this car's maximum airspeed, which gives an extra 33% over the normal maximum speed, is not as fast as the Jesko and the Tuatara at max without nitro. However, as we all know, oftentimes multiplayer seems to favor those cars that are more agile even if they don't have as high of a speed. Case in point, Huracans with their 222 miles per hour maximum speed, winning races in every single league, which you might not expect. They're just so easy to drive and reliable. This car is sort of the same, but let me get back to why that is only at 5 or 6 stars. You see, at lower stars, its nitro efficiency, its acceleration, and its handling are just not nearly as good as even the other agile cars, and since its speed is no good, it has literally nothing going for it at that point, and it probably won't compete well against pretty much any S-Class cars. But you start up, you get that great handling, you get that decent acceleration and good nitro, and that is when you definitely have a better car on your hands, because oftentimes you can get ahead in the beginning, you can get around the corners with more speed than a lot of other cars, and you can maintain that speed really well with that nitro. If you would like to see for yourself the giant difference in performance of this car between stock and max, I would definitely recommend checking out my video about my 1-star Senna, which is where I got it in its special event, and that is where it stayed for a very long time. Just recently, in the past few months, I was able to 2-star it finally, and that is why I was able to have the purple metallic on the car in the intro. Credit Card's got a decal on his car, and I think it looks pretty cool too. So I believe the Senna could definitely be used toward the lower end of Legend League, just to get up to, I don't know, maybe 18, possibly 1900-ish rating. The problem is, when you get to that point, the drivers in general become much more skilled, because that's what it takes to get to that rating in a normal season, and typically speaking, they are going to be driving the high top speed S-Class cars, which this car cannot really compete against no matter how hard it tries. Now, the reason why I said it would be fine in lower end Legend League is you have a lot of people there who who have those cars but might not know how to use them to their full potential, but once you get into the 1900-ish range, they really do, as I have found recently with my own experience. This past season, I used a ton of the high-end S-Class cars that I have, and I got up to 1976 rating in multiplayer, which at the time I got there, it was like 160 position or something like that, but it was not easy at all. There were tons of ups and downs on the journey there, and pretty much everybody driving Sheerans and Yeskos and some Sparks, which I saw, knew how to drive them well and to their maximum potential. They kept that high top speed, and oftentimes if I was in a car that was like even somewhat slower than them, like I think I took out the Huera BC and the 570S out toward the lower end of Legend League, and there were a couple people who just got way ahead and went off my map because they knew how to drive those cars. And then when I switched into my Yesko and Tuatara, when I was actually able to pass people and I didn't get knocked down, yeah, that happened to me a couple of times, I was able to get pretty much that far ahead as well. Thankfully, Go Slipstream season should be next, and hopefully I will get to be able to test some of those cars to their fullest potential there, and I'm extremely looking forward to testing my newly maxed McLaren F1 LM. I have upgraded it to as much as I can at this point. Whenever the Unleashed event ends, I should get a few more epics, which I am very likely to put on to Nitro. I was debating between Nitro and Top Speed, so I asked my Purple Team community, and some members there told me that Nitro would be better overall because the Top Speed epics would only give me another like 1 mile per hour of speed, but upgrading Nitro to fully max would give me another 3 or 4 points on the Nitro. And I was also told by Fire that even with the F1LM's very poor acceleration in general, and even for its class, it is able to shockwave up completely to its top speed of like 243-ish miles per hour if you have Nitro completely golden. That sounds very nice, and the car already drifts extremely well, so you don't really need to worry about the handling much. And one of my goals with it is to see just how high I can push the rating in the multiplayer season, because Go Slipstream is advantageous to it for a few reasons. The first one is because it accelerates so slowly, you get behind most of the other cars at the beginning, but then you can get their slipstream pretty fast, and then because it's Ghost season, you can shockwave right through them all and hopefully get into first place. Now, the problem will come once you get into higher and Legend League, as I said before, where most of the cars just keep getting faster. And then the thing is, Slipstream will also allow those cars like the Yesko and the Sheeran to also do the same thing. So I think I probably won't be able to make it much past 1900 with that car, even if I am able to get there, but we'll see. My biggest obstacle is probably going to be the fuel on the car. I can only play it 3 times every 6 hours unless I want to run a ridiculous ton of ads, which I honestly might do if I decide to do that, because of course I want to make it the best video that I can. So now it is time for my general review of the Golden Max McLaren Senna. As you've seen throughout this video, oftentimes it is able to hold its own, looks very easy to drive, and it has been when I've tested it at Golden Max before. Quite clearly, its weakest point is its very low top speed for its class, but its other amazing stats, especially the handling, allow it to remain competitive against faster cars. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to Credit Card for these races. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!